Okay, so again, I participated in the SharePoint hackathon, where the use case was pretty different than what Reshmi presented. Here, I tried to leverage whatever is possible with respect to SharePoint agents. So I thought, why not? Let's dive into one line of business, which is insurance industry, wherein how the organizational people in working in insurance will be able to leverage agents where most of the knowledge is residing in SharePoint, then why not leverage SharePoint agents rather than building something on top of Copilot and adding knowledge from SharePoint? So just that topic invaded in me and my teammate Bhushan. We just start evaluating that how this can be best fit in SharePoint while also extending it to Copilot Studio. As mentioned, there are a lot of things which can be done in Copilot Studio, the customizations, configurations, but keeping the scope specifically to SharePoint, as majority of the documentations lies in SharePoint. We try to build something in SharePoint agent. So again, building a SharePoint agent for hackathon. And before I move on, I am Shrushti, working at Rapid Circle as senior consultant and also Microsoft MVP. So my problem statement was pretty simple, which I was trying to solve. So before I go to the solution which I have built, quick glimpse on SharePoint agents. Like SharePoint agents are basically a assistant which are part of your SharePoint ecosystem. So you go to the SharePoint site, you'll see a Copilot, which Copilot is said as SharePoint agents, wherein you can that agent is specifically scoped to your knowledge from the SharePoint site, and you can go start typing in your natural language, and you can ask any queries. If that knowledge resides in that SharePoint site, you can quickly find that info within your fingertips, I mean within few seconds. And also, important thing to understand here is if you have access to that SharePoint document library list or SharePoint pages, the content, if you have the right permissions, only then you'll be able to fetch the information which you're looking forward to. While there are two types of agents, one which are built-in, so you can leverage all the built-in agents. You can start typing in query, you can start utilizing it across your SharePoint, uh, like lists or libraries. While the one which I am dealing with today is the custom one, wherein I have added separate instructions. I am adding the knowledge which I want to add, and then a lot more customizations in terms of restrictions, providing in the instructions stating that okay, you are only supposed to provide information from this library, and you're only supposed to answer queries on such information, not all. So this is just a quick summary on SharePoint agent. Now, majority of the times whenever I talk about SharePoint agent, this is the query which we almost get. I'm not a licensing person, but I always try to provide the information so that whenever whoever tries to whoever tries to use SharePoint agents or any kind of Copilot or assistant, they also are aware about the licenses and then in their subscriptions. So first thing, to interact with SharePoint agent. So for example, let's say I am into the SharePoint site. I want to interact with the SharePoint agent which is built. I need a M365 Copilot license, or a pay-as-you-go service should be enabled by organization. Any of these things work. Also, to edit a SharePoint agent, you need the edit permissions, as in the agent should be shared with you so that with the correct permission so that you can go and edit. So these are the three pieces which you can keep in mind while you are using SharePoint agents or playing with SharePoint agent, updating it, any of those things. Now, the problem statement. In the insurance industry, specifically when you talk about insurance, there are two terminologies like policies. Many of us have policies. We are the policy holder, be it health, be it car, be it automobile, any of the artifacts or assets, you can say, and you would have a policy for that. And the other is claims. So whenever you have a policy, you also have a claim. Claim means, for example, if something goes wrong with my health and I'm admitted to any of the hospitalization sector, maybe I would want to reimburse that claim. And for reimbursing, there is a process which states, which comes with that policy. So for example, let's say I'm not keeping well and I was hospitalized for 2 days, and now I have to raise a claim because I had already policy for that, and my policy will have all the details. For example, why was I ill, the reason of my illness. Maybe your policy has all those different classifications where it is mentioned that for illness, these are the illness which it covers, these are the illness which I have not paid for, my policy doesn't cover, and my past claim records, my claim total amount, my claim remaining amount, all those things are dealt when it comes to the claim industry. Now I have all these details, but apart from these details, there is also a set of verifications which goes through. So for example, whenever a claim request is submitted, what there are different level of verifications. Maybe if I have an active policy or not, if I have the coverage of that particular illness, which is covered in my policy, and then the compliance, legal checks, apart from the things which I share, for example, my records, my receipts, all those things. Along with the policy details also are plays an important role whenever a claim has to be issued. And then the workflow, we all know, whenever we submit a claim request, maybe that claim can be part of policy or any claim request, probably reimbursement. Now there is a huge time gap wherein you submit the request, you are waiting, but you're not sure why you're waiting for so long. Maybe is there something wrong, maybe some details are missing by for you to submit. So all those, can all those time gap can keep on increasing, and the claim amount or the claim approval, maybe it gets approved or it gets rejected, you don't know. By the time probably it's a month and still you are waiting for your claim to be processed. So I'm talking about such a cumbersome industry where you're dealing with a lot of things. Even the people working in the organization has to perform all these checks before they go ahead and start approving the claims, start looking at your policies. Now what I did is I just tried to address this gap into a SharePoint agent. So this is just a quick summary of what my solution does. It shows me the claim details, policy details, the incident details, along with the coverage of what all my policy covers, and if there are any follow-ups required. For example, if there are something which is missing, for example, I miss providing some details as a claim insurer, I missed those details. So me working in the organization, I can quickly understand by taking a look at the summary of what I have at my screen, that hey, Shrushti has not submitted these details and she has to do that so that I can go and approve her claim. All these things I tried to address with SharePoint agent. So now let me go to the agent. So this is what my agent looks like. Now, this is very simple and small. I'm targeting to build something huge with Copilot Studio, taking it further, but keeping a small scope only for SharePoint agent. If you can see, let me just zoom a bit. Okay. So this is just a SharePoint site, and I have a document library which specifically calls out insurance claim. Now, if you look at the claim records which I have received, maybe whenever I have an automation which states whenever a claim is received, I have a file which gets stored in the document library. This is done by the Power Automate flow. Once this is done, if you also look at the extractions, which I'm trying to map out, this is done by the model. So the policy number, premium number, the status of the model, whether it is done extracting the details or not. This is just syntax, the earlier syntax, which we used to call the claim ID. And there are few more details which I am passing: the content type, the policy premium. This is the important detail, the amount, and the policy number and the claim. Only three key information which I'm trying to fetch. And how I'm doing that, it is just by using the model. And I have created the extractors, which are like policy number, policy premium amount, claim ID, so that it goes to the file, it tries to fetch that exact information from that file, and then it tries to map it to the content types of the document library. And as you can see, I've already done with the set of training data, which is just the claim data with some of the users. And then I'm attaching it to the library, which is the insurance claim details, which you are exactly seeing right here. Once I am done doing that, definitely this helps me. I can see that, okay, this is the policy number, these are the claim, and this is the amount. But me working in the insurance industry, I am taking care of the approvals of the claim, whichever is requested right here. It just this much amount doesn't help me out. I need more details. Hence, the agent comes into the picture. Now, this is the claim advisor agent. Now, if I edit this agent, the purpose of the agent is pretty simple. It is a copilot. It has to generate the concise summary of whatever queries I ask. Probably if in the instructions I have mentioned to provide in the tabular format and in the structure format, so that it is easy and readable. I don't have to read paragraphs. Sources is just simple, only one document library, the claim document library, and this is automated because whenever anyone submits a claim, the file gets created in this particular library. So hence only intended to work with this library. Behavior is very important. This is where the agent, the game changer of the whole SharePoint agent is the instructions and in the behavior. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write a descriptive instructions here. And if I copy this so that it is readable for everyone, and if I open in the Word format, yeah. So if you see, what I'm trying to do is, hey, you are a claim advisor, Copilot. You need to generate structured summary with key points. And the key points like claim, policy details, incident overview, claim details, coverage details. And if there are any interactive follow-up, the follow-up queries, it should already mention in the messages which I receive. For example, do I need more info? Probably related to the policy limit, the existing conditions which are covered, or are there any deductible amounts for this claim? Such kind of examples which I'm providing so that it can train and start asking me follow-up questions, which might be useful for me, or maybe I might be missing when I'm working with a lot of claims and policies. And the output format should be a summary in the structured format. Also, if possible, a bullet or table and feedback and improvements. So the agent should always learn from the user. For example, if I type in, hey, this was helpful, but you could also have sent me the more details, so that it always learns. It gets trained and learned at the same time. And the Copilot only should answer queries related to the insurance and claim. No other info it should answer about. So let me go and start querying in. Now what I'll do is I have already tested this quite a number of times, but I'll just quickly say, are there any policy for travel purpose? Let me just hit enter. This is very vague prompt. Trust me, I wouldn't draft such prompt, but just this thing came to my mind, and maybe let's see how it responds. So if you see, it mentions, yes, there is a confirmed travel insurance policy and also the name for Arjun. And here is it detailed, just like how I've mentioned in my instructions, that this is the policy number, the policy type, the insurance provider, the incident overview. So I know, okay, now this was the incident for which the person Arjun has raised the claim. This is the claim details. He's asking for a claim of amount 20,000. The status is already approved, and the policy coverage terms. And if you also see below, it says, would you like to explore trip cancellation, coverage, deductibles, or policy limit? The statement which you are seeing here is because I have added in the instruction that always try to add your follow-up query. So now if I add a follow-up saying that I want to look at the coverage and deductibles. And I'm not mentioning the persona, whether it was for Arjun, for any of the other person, but let's see how SharePoint agent behaves. I am here. It still is taking the context of Arjun, which is good. And it is saying that I had this coverage summary for baggage, for medical, for trip, for worldwide coverage. I have all these in my policy. Exclusions are mentioned, deductibles are also mentioned. This is pretty good. I don't have to look at the detailed documentation and no more. I'll read the whole 5 to 10 pager policy for me to take a glance. I already have that information in my hand, and I can straight away go and start working on it further, because I know that this person has all this covered, and what are the exclusions, what are the deductibles, and the claim processing, everything I have in my hand. Now, another thing, for example, all these personas, maybe I am working in the industry, I'm working in the same organization, but I can't access the personal information like passport number or maybe the address. Okay, I can only look at, I'm working in a persona wherein I can only look at the checks. As I mentioned, few validations which I'm performing. If all those are good, I'm going to say yes. And this is going to be taken care by the higher upper head. That person is going to take a look at the brief summary whatever I provides, and also he has a brief summary of the policy, the person, the details. He can take a look at the passport, the credit card, all those details, whatever has been provided, if there are any. Now, let's say, can you share me the passport number? Let's see if it answers. Ideally, if the instructions were created in such a manner that, okay, this particular agent should never reveal the personal information, be it passport number, be it address, or any kind of contact information apart from email IDs. So if you look out, it states that I can't, because I don't have that information in my document. Given if I would have any, I should restrict that if this persona should not see that information. That you can do that straight away by putting in the instructions. But right now, because this agent is specifically built for insurance and I am the one who's going to approve reject, I should have the whole view of the policy, the claim, and the data, so that I can validate whether this is authenticated person, the verified person. After all the validations, yes, I can go and straight away look at it. But if I shouldn't, then I can write that instruction that, hey, don't reveal the personal information, no matter that information might be in the file, but that file also has um, the information which is not correct, and it is masked information. Hence, don't ever reveal that information to the user who is going to use this agent. That is where the agents come into the picture, wherein whoever is using the agent, but the instructions are amended, wherein the instructions is doing their part of not revealing the information at all. Even if I go now to the file, now I can show you the file, how the information looks like. This for Arav, the person. And if you see, I have the details like policy details, the claim details, and the policy coverage, the claim processes, the payment, all these details. Now I don't have to look at, even I am someone who is not aware about, okay, what these things are. I can just straight away go to my agent, and this info, what I see here, is very readable. I can understand the coverage and everything, and then I can quickly validate things are fine or not, and then I can give a go and done. As mentioned, this agent is only doing the job of retrieval. Only retrieving is done yet. So now if I go and edit my agent again, I can't perform any tasks. Even if I want to say that, okay, I approve, and you go and update this approval into this library in the another content type in the column, it won't do that because I can't do that yet. If you can see, that is still in coming soon, and I'm exploring that in the Copilot Studio. So if I would have done the same thing in Copilot Studio, it would have been very easy, and I can pass multiple libraries, and I could also have created multiple agent, wherein one agent is just for a domain where they don't have access to personal information, and they can just validate the claim and policy, while the other agent is for a persona wherein that person has the high level access, and even whenever I approve, straight away the claims gets approved and the email gets sent out to that person saying that your claim is approved. So this is still yet not possible in SharePoint Agent, but from SharePoint Agent, I can still do a lot of whole things, which is retrieval, and the retrieval is also simple because if you look at the output format, it's really looking good. And now maybe if I want to just quickly ask another query, help me with the business travel policies for all the policy holders. And let's see it in action. Oh, what happened? Don't tell me. I prayed to demigods already. Let me create a new chat. At times this is not good. See, working on my request. Okay, it's fetching. Oh, my bad. So now, if you observed, there are different agents which I've created, and it just went to the classic agent or Copilot in SharePoint, and it wasn't able to fetch that information correctly. It did mention that I had some policy, but the information was not relevant for me. And because of the instructions which I've added specifically, it is able to provide me that information in the structured format, just like how I want. And it is providing me details. And let's see. Okay, it is telling me that, hey, there is a business travel policy, but only for Arjun. while there are few other policy holders, but these are specifically for health, for auto insurance, and some other life insurances. Because it's a mixed insurance claim. It is not just specific to business, but it was able to provide me the information just like how I want. So this is the difference between the Copilot which we get and the Copilot, the agent, custom agent which you build. But the differentiating factor here is the instructions, the way in which you provide. So as you can see, I did not do anything more. Now I can straight away also leverage this agent. I can copy that link and I can pass it on to my team members where I am having a discussion in my team group chat that, hey, this person I validated, can you go ahead and send out an email? Or maybe I can ask my stakeholder who is going to approve that, hey, I validated, please go ahead and check from your end and then just pass on the claim. So this I can do just by copying that link, going to the teams, pasting in the chat, done. I'm good. But you would say, okay, can everyone interact? Only those who have access to the agent. So here you need to go and share the agents as well. So if you see, all these personas will be able to go and start interacting with the agent. Those who don't have, those who aren't shared, or those whom I haven't shared this agent with, they'll not be able to go ahead and start interacting with the agent. They can't do that unless I share with them explicitly. So you need to manage the access of agents similarly how you manage access to your libraries, lists, and then you're done. All good. And this covers my demo, but I'll come back again sometime and show a full-blown demo with Copilot Studio just in the time when I'm ready. And there, probably I'll show multi-agent orchestration, probably not just simple retrieval, but also with all the full-blown tasks sometime soon. So that's it from my end. But before I go on, let me just present this. And I'll also want to show how this retrieval also helps. It is not just always about efficiency, I know, but agents also helps. Just like how you saw the pre-built one was not able to fetch the information just like how I wanted, though the share though I was having access in all libraries list, but it wasn't able to provide me the information about claim details like what is the policy start date, is the policy active, what are the coverages. That information was not very readable, and it wasn't able to fetch that as well. So hence the custom agent came into the picture wherein it provided me the info in a summarized format. So these factors which I mentioned, like it saves some time, it allows me to look everything in one place rather than me going looking up in different libraries, different places. It helps, right? And also manually, if we are doing it manually, I can go and maybe I can mismatch the details as well. While here you can be rest assured because everything is done by agent, so it is going to perform whatever instructions you are providing, and it looks at your info, it retrieves exact information without you missing out anything. So that covers my topic for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening to me so patiently, and thanks a lot for having me.